Hey there! For those who are interested in animation, this video might help you to learn more about it. So, what's animation? Animation is a technique that gives a sense of movement to an inanimate object, such as image, drawings, figures, people, or anything else that creativity can imagine. So, let's get started with the first type of animation, traditional. How did it start? Well, the first film of traditional animation was released in 1937 by Walt Disney Studios. It was called Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and pioneered a new form of family entertainment. In traditional animation, or also called hand-drawn animation, each frame is drawn individually, generating the illusion of movement. Usually there are between 8 and 24 frames per minute. This means with less frames the animation is faster and with more frames the animation is slower. If you want to practice, the flipbook was the first tool of animation. Basically, it was a little book in which on each page a scene was drawn. So by turning the page quickly, the movement was perceived. It was something like this one. This was the first type of animation, so there are many others. Let's see the next.
Okay, now we're gonna be talking about stop motion animation. And we already have seen what is traditional animation, and it's a pretty simple concept, but now this one is a little bit more interesting. And well, the concept definition says that it's an animation technique in which the camera takes frame by frame photographs to make the illusion of movement and static objects. I think it's pretty basic. You take a photo of maybe this brush here. I don't know if it's a brush. Well, you take a photo of every movement, and if you, I don't know how to say it. Okay, you take the photo of every movement, and it's gonna be making the illusion that it's moving just like this. It's pretty simple. The concept of stop motion, or also called stop action, was created by George Méliès in 1896. 1896. Okay, this technique is nowadays used and is known for its pleasant aesthetic and unique style. Very famous stop motion movies, such as Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas. Which one? Coraline. I love Coraline. It's a pretty beautiful movie, and the more recent of all of those movies is Isle of Dogs. I haven't seen it, but it's got a pretty beautiful aesthetic. And so yes, stop motion is that technique, and we're gonna be talking about 3D animation next.
Hello, I'm going to tell you a bit about 3D animation. People often consider stop motion and clay motion early forms of 3D animation because the objects in here exist in a three-dimensional space. Some of the characteristics in this type of animation are that objects have a height, a width, and a depth. Objects in this animation are modeled and manipulated by an animator in programs like Maya or Blender. Objects may look like clay in the beginning, and if you want them to look more realistic, you have to paint the objects with different textures.
Sometimes the animators may have to create a new program to be able to animate and create new stuff because this can be hard in the programs that already exist. In 3D animation, you are able to move objects like you would in real life. You can rotate them and you can work with more perspectives than the ones you can use in 2D animation. 3D animation is not only used in movies. You can also find it in TV shows, cartoons, video games, and even in presentation graphics. The first feature-length computer animated film was Toy Story, made by Pixar in 1995. Nowadays, 3D animation is also called CGI. However, this term is often used when talking about 3D animation in real-life films like the special effects we see in movies like The Avengers and Star Wars. If you want to know a bit more about animation, visit the link below. Thanks.